Okay. Here. Well, here we are at the final matches for our pro league in Edmonton. We have KREUTZ, who was our top average qualifier for the 4 weeks, averaging, what was his final average there?
Well, we don't have it on here.
We don't.
Kerry had it on his laptop, but I guess we can't
Anyway,
do that.
and Chris, he qualified by being the 5th place qualifier in the last tournament, which put him in the 8th position. Therefore, he has to play against KARIE. We have 4 other gentlemen that each won the first 4 qualifiers, and out of those 4 qualifiers, they each got a bye into the next.
That is correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep. So right now we have 4 matches going on, and on here we have the number 1 qualifier KARIE playing Chris HYSLOP, the number 8 qualifier, and Chris started with a corner. Obviously, missed it, but picked up 15. Every pin counts here.
Yep. Everything counts.
You bet.
All right, on to Kerry. He actually put up a pretty staggering score last week of 1,400.
Yeah, I heard he threw really well, and then just kind of ran into, and there we go. KARIE starts with a strike. Nice ball. We ran into a real buzzsaw with Aaron.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron played.
took out
They
everybody.
had a really good match in the final, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Aaron played really well through the whole step ladder. Yeah.
Now, did he start in number 5 or 4 and come all the way through? Yeah. And that's always a nice feat to do. And then he obviously had to beat KARIE twice in the final, right?
No.
No. Oh no,
Only
that's
once.
right. We
Yeah.
only do it once.
Only once.
Okay. It is a true step ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
He throws a double, and if you watch the release on KARIE throws a backup. Starts from right to left, throws it into the pocket, tries to hit the left side of the head.
All right.
Yeah.
What else do we got here?
So Chris in qualifying today, Chris averaged 268 to qualify in his position.
She was one of our lower cuts on the.
Yeah, this was
the 4
probably
weeks.
the lowest cut of the 4. And there he
believe it
throws
was.
a nice strike. And if you watch there, you'll see Chris, he throws a bit of a backup.
That is correct.
Straight through and a release with a backup.
3 steps. He actually was an open mixed team national gold medalist winner in 2016.
Yes.
One of his, not a large resume, but definitely a start of one for sure.
Oh, he's been a very up-and-coming player. You know,
Yeah.
he throws a decent shot, and when he gets it rolling, he throws very strong. He's obviously got a little more pressure on it. KARIE is the experienced of the 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this is a great builder.
Good practice. See how he handles himself in the situation.
Yeah. There he goes and throws another strike.
Answers with a double.
Yeah. And
Easily could have been a 3 turkey, I guess.
yep, Chris throws the ball on both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can hit either left pocket or right pocket.
Yeah.
Where when KARIE's really throwing really well, he'll go predominantly to one side, generally to the left pocket.
One of the more, I don't know what the word would be, tends to change a lot. He's got a lot of changes he can make.
Well, oh, and there he got it.
There we go. Another answer with the turkey.
Turkey. KARIE's a very methodical player.
Yeah.
He knows, like when he starts punching a little bit, Matt, he tends to change a lot. Other players most bowlers are very stubborn.
Yeah.
We stay with what we got and try and work it.
Yeah.
You know? And KARIE is a real student of the game.
Yeah.
He's really.
Oh, a little high.
There we go.
Didn't seem to like it out of his hand.
Nope. He just got a little quick and just popped up. I've had the fortune of playing with KARIE on quite a few nationals. We were in 2016, the same year that Chris won gold on the mixed team. I had the fortune of playing with KARIE on the men's Alberta men's team in Regina. We won gold there. And KARIE was a rookie that year.
Yeah.
And it was amazing to other people. They couldn't believe that was his first time that he had ever made
The Open
a
Nationals.
Yeah.
He'd already
and he
previously
was-
won Regina and
Yep.
Heritage.
Yeah, exactly. He was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal player. But you
Set
know
the
what?
record that year.
Yeah, but you know what? That's one of the neat things about this meet is you know, a lot of times we have great YBC players, YBC bowlers coming in, and they never made a national, but once they get to the adults, they still have that knowledge,
Yeah.
and they've had that coaching that they develop. And KARIE was a late developer. He was a good YBC player, but unfortunately played in a house that didn't have a really huge nucleus of really high caliber players.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris got a little wobble with that one.
A little quick there. That
He had
doesn't
a
hurt.
chance
no.
to step up on KARIE there. If he spares this, he's at 180 and throws a strike to follow, and he'd be down by 6 pins.
Yep. Doesn't hurt him in that situation.
See if anybody's been. Just want to see for the page.
Ouch. So right now,
Alright.
after 4 frames, we have a score of 116 for KARIE and a possibility of 90 for Chris.
And if anyone wants to talk or post anything on the comments section of the live feed, we do have a phone here ready to answer any comments. Anybody who has any questions?
Okay.
Bit of an off frame.
Yep.
Looked a little uncomfortable there, but
Yeah, so he's down by 31. And long ways to go. No frames to follow. I'm watching some of the other matches that I see down here, and there's some pretty good games where guys are running 4-baggers, triples.
I personally like playing here for the big scores. I think it makes it a little more exciting for TV and the average person that doesn't actually play bowling.
Oh.
Personally.
Without a doubt, you know, it's all too often our sport doesn't get recognized for what the talent and the ability that these athletes have.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, they just maybe nerves. It might be getting a little into him a bit. I don't know if he's ever actually played in front of a live stream before.
I've
Maybe
actually-
other than a cash tournament, but just a qualifying.
Yeah, well, the only place that he might have played that would have been in a cash tournament at TPC, because I don't think I've seen Chris play the other ones.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I've seen him play Heritage before,
I don't think so.
but I
Tough
know.
with kids, but
There he goes. Good shot.
I know.
But I do know that he plays at TPC because that's his home center.
yeah,
And the Wisemans they do such a great job in that center for everyone else. And their normal participants try
Yeah.
to patronize it as much as they can.
let's see if KARIE can take advantage here of those 2 misses. I rolled over the little
Yeah.
arrow right off the start. Sticks are big.
KARIE, even when he punches, he's so smooth.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't, when you look at it like here, we see the speed on him going in. He throws the speed of 50 kilometers, but
Yeah.
the one interesting thing about him and a few of the other bigger bowlers that play with speed, they don't throw their body into it. It's just a natural thing. They use their forearms and their body in just in unison.
I think KARIE would be a guy that would put more emphasis on the roll on the shot than his speed. The speed just comes natural. And,
Well, KARIE's an ex-baseball player, eh?
Yeah.
And he was a formidable athlete in just about any sport he wanted to play. So when he picked up bowling, it became quite natural for him, eh?
Yeah.
There he goes.
He was one of those guys that picked up the game at 18 as well.
Pardon me?
He was one of the guys that picked up the game after.
No, KARIE
Did he have
played
YBC?
YBC.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he played out of the center in Wetaskiwin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And one of his biggest coaches was Robert Gallagher, who now owns Stepman. Right?
Yeah.
You know, so. But yeah, nice spare. That was amazing how that pin just disappeared so quickly. The ball.
Yeah. It's the one thing you find with speed is sometimes like it can give to you with some hits, some kickbacks, but it can take away sometimes too with too much deflection, which people also.
You bet. Well, in this case here with Kerry there, his ball just drove straight through instead of getting the deflection out to the side. And
Yeah.
from us back here watching, we think it's just a perfect ball. It could be many of the variables there. There's a strike.
Very nice shot.
Yeah. You know, it could be many variables that could cause that outcome. It could be when the pins set down. Sometimes the pins are always spinning, so when they set down, they will walk.
Yeah.
So if you don't watch them and they walk back a bit, you can get, you know, they look fine from here,
Yeah.
but they will actually walk back an inch, and that just takes out the alignment of your trajectory.
Oh, that's when you see a 5-pin player resetting as much as they do. You don't see it quite as much as a 10-pin game, where we reset more here purely on the fact that there is more room for error.
Well, the other thing is that in 10-pin they also have, I believe they have a 2-set rule.
Yeah, you're only allowed
You know,
2 re-racks.
Two re-racks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, see in there.
Looks like he's pulling a bit right now, pulling it to the left. That's where he seems to be missing right now. He's actually, from what I've been playing against Chris on Sundays in the match play, that's where I primarily played him for the last few years, he tends to play right pocket with the backup, which is, I think, a little bit different, a little bit easier to run off corners, but he seems to make it work. But when he struggles, he really starts to pull it to his left.
Oh, okay.
Arm gets a little bit too far under. There was a better adjustment.
Yeah. And that was just a bad break he got there. That could have easily carried the pins.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I've said, you know, with the pins the way we have them sitting, like here we have the small bases with the 17-inch difference.
Yeah.
So when you're throwing a control ball and you put it in there, sometimes that's detrimental for you.
Yeah.
If you throw speed, sometimes it's good. You
Yeah.
know, so, but you know what? It's what do you call it? There's a great ball. See, just that extra speed. Even though the pins, like a lot of times their pins will fly up,
Yeah.
he just kept the pins on the trajectory down below, and it just filtered into
Yeah.
the speed. Now, if he would have had a little slower ball, and it's a little slower, sometimes that ball will react off the head pin, and it'll push the 3-pin behind,
Yeah.
because the 2-pin is just too close to it.
Yeah.
Or you hit it a little thin and it goes right across the front.
Yeah.
So we have right now, Chris has got a score of 156 and 7. Gary's got 156 and 6 with a strike.
Looked a little quick. Oh,
Oh boy.
doesn't quite get away with it.
Yeah.
It's really wouldn't change anything. It was on a strike.
Pardon me?
Wouldn't have changed the count though, even if you got the chop.
No.
Counts the same on the strike.
Yeah. See, this is the one, that's the other point that you just made there, you know, the chop or the miss there.
That's a nice shot.
Same count, great ball. But
really nice.
the one thing is the other thing is a lot of us, we look at it, we look at statistics, and we look at the game thus far. In the first 7 frames, KARIE had hit the middle 7 for 7.
Yeah.
Where Chris was 4 for 7.
Yeah.
But out of the 4, he had 3 strikes.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to leave you alone now so I can go pour them.
Okay, you
so I
go
gotta
ahead
play
and
in the next
practice.
round.
Yep, and I'll just keep an eye on this. So we have Chris going up in the 8th frame here. Ooh, boy, that was a pretty good ball. There again, flies past the 2-pin. Now, one of the things that we can look at just for a little bit of information, when we look at the footwear of both these players, Dexter seems to be the shoe of choice right now. KARIE also has his own custom airwalks that he's made. For balls and size, Chris plays one ball. It's the Viper, 100% rubber. It's 4 7/8 a ball, 38. Where Carrie will play any one of 4 different types of balls, depending upon how he's throwing and how he feels. Another good ball by Chris. Put it right where he wants it, just in the corner again. If we look at some of the stats for each of these gentlemen, Chris's high is a 421 for single. He's got a 1085 triple. Where Carrie's high is a 450, which I know he has thrown 3 of them. Perfect games. And his high triple is 1117. I think Chris has just gotten a little tired, just a little less motivated after. So Chris has got 197 and 9. Carrie can throw a great shot here. He just ended. That chop off that gives Carrie 211 and 8. Spare, good shot. So Carrie's got 211 with a spare in 9. Chris is 197 in 9. Carrie throws the first ball on the side and will invariably give him enough count to end the match. Oh boy, that is an unbelievable shot. Hard to believe that nothing touched that tube. With that shot, Carrie is one man. She's virtually shut out. Chris? So Carrie will be carrying on for the first match. He's got 269. Chris will finish this up for us. So just to do a stats on Carrie in his game, he hit the middle, 10 out of 11 attempts, 1 miss, which he was able to spare. The only opens he had were head pins. When he threw that, the maximum Carrie would have gotten if he carried every pin, picked up every pin, he would have had 8276. He left 7 pins on the deck.
I can do that. Well, you want to do the tops.
Oh. This is hard for Chris. Obviously, he knows he's lost already, but because we're trying to keep stats and such forth. Chris gets the cheers from everyone. Good match. Congratulations, Carrie.
If that's all right with you.
So our next match on this set will be our number 1 qualifier, Evan LACOURSIERE, and his match will be against Jeremy HARASYMCHUK. Jeremy's high is a 450, is his high game. Evan's high game is a 447. Jeremy's high 3 is a 1048, and Evan's high 3 is a 1076. So we start out, Jeremy hits a really skinny shot, and gets his first strike to open up. Basically, Jeremy throws a 3 or 4 steps, depending upon which one he chooses at any given time. And he throws his ball rotation as a puck. He's been playing for 23 years. And he's up and he throws one right in the right pocket for a strike. Evan LACOURSIERE has been bowling, he throws basically a straight or a hook, does a 4-step, and he's been playing approximately 20 years. When I look at these two gentlemen's resumes, obviously Evan has been very qualifying quite highly in the WCBT. He's made an open men's team gold already. He was 3 times YBC National Silver, and he won the $10,000 tournament that we had out in Fort St. John here about 3 years ago. Evan gets up and throws his second strike, so he starts with the double. On Jeremy's resume, I see he was on the senior boys team in 2009, 2007, representing Alberta. He won senior singles gold in looks like 2010. He has been on the Edmonton mixed team. Oh, Jeremy follows up with a double as well. This looks like this match could turn out to be a real barn burner. If you watch when Jeremy's throwing the ball, he's very fluid. He doesn't take a lot of time. He just gets up and he just has a natural release.
Another good parallel between these two is they're both high-level ball players at one time growing up as well.
Yeah, and you know what? That would definitely help them in this game here because that gives them a little bit of inside on the mental side of the game.
Yeah.
So they're ahead of a lot of the other younger players.
Yeah, and that innate physical capability that comes with it too, the timing and all of that.
You betcha. Well, this sport is basically all eye-hand coordination, eh?
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
as baseball is.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, eh? So they follow that. Most all of our sports that we play have some form of a pendulum motion, release and such forth like that, and that's what the game of 5-pin. So they were able to incorporate that and just follow through.
Very much so.
Both these gentlemen were very accomplished youth players.
Yep.
No, so.
There you go.
Yeah. So Evan's
Another good
basically
one.
throwing into the left pocket, and it looks like today he's throwing just a slight hook in it, keeping the ball straight.
I'd agree with that.
When you watch Jeremy, he comes under a little more with his hook, so it has a little bit more break on it than what Evan does.
Yeah, and it's a good parallel that way. You kind of see people who throw very similar shots with the hook can play different parts of the lane. You've got Jeremy playing from the left side and Evan playing from the right side, and equally as effective.
And you watch both of them when they're throwing, you know, as far as speeds in that. Their balls are traveling fairly quickly, and they're engaging. Neither one of them are really hucking the ball.
Yeah.
It's just natural roll.
Yeah, so that innate power that comes from their approach.
Yeah.
Actually, Evan was a little bit quick, I think, on that one through
I think his backswing, he got a little high, and then all of a sudden he's coming down a little more down like this. A little steeper, and then he just doesn't get that natural.
Almost too aggressive in a sense.
Yes, very, very, very good way of putting it.
Just enough on that 3-pin that time.
You know, and that's the one thing I played with Evan all year here, And many times that he throws the head pin, and Jeremy as well, I watched. They can spare them.
Yeah, definitely here. This set, not so much, but there's definitely sets here at Bonnie Doon that you can see those right 2 pins fly around like nobody's business.
Yeah, and there's different ways of throwing that spares. You generally throw it the right side for both these guys with their hook. But, Jeremy follows right up with a head pin as well.
Guess it's a true match play game, ball for ball.
Yes. First one. Normally you say the first one you make a mistake, but we both made one there. So.
I don't know. Still lots of game up there, though.
Yeah. That's the hardest part when you punch. Pins are very, very costly, and especially at this level.
Yeah. And it's such a fine line. No, drives myself up the wall. Do that. You go for purposely for a 3-2. You cherry the 3-pin out like that every time, but you miss the middle. You never cherry 3-pin.
But there's another parallel to that. I'm not sure. Over the years that I've just watched, and I really study the game a lot. It's funny when we punch a head pin, how we can pick the right 3-2 and the left 3-2.
Yeah.
But when we get a chop off, invariably you can cherry that darn 3-pin.
Yep.
Well, there's a good follow back.
Yeah.
Comes back with the strike and gets right back in the saddle.
Yeah.
So after 4 frames, equal frames, Evan's got 120, Jeremy's got 116 with the strike.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That was a good shot. Maybe a pinch high.
Yeah,
Pinch high coming in on that side.
Yeah, and the way the head pin shoots to the back and catches that 2-pin. Now, for some reason, that 2-pin just didn't flop into the 3-pin.
Yeah.
Now, because we're sitting here, normally the ruling on this would be is that you'd have to get that 2-pin take out by the rules of the game.
Yeah.
But we're using kind of our own tournament rule because we don't have someone able to go back there. Well, we do, but it would take a lot of time.
And it's honor system. Nobody out here is here to make money off of the other guy because they can. It's
exactly. And
the ball want the better bowler to exceed here.
Exactly, and we're trying to do it expediently.
Yeah.
The other thing is we're all sitting here. Most bowlers know exactly. They look at it as an honor system. It's different when you're at a nationals. Then you have to follow and abide by that rule.
Yeah.
But
still, I mean, mark to mark here.
Pardon me?
Back to scores though. That's bark to bark, so still keeps everything in check here.
Oh, for sure.
Just a little pinch high again on the other side this time.
Yeah, and, but the thing is that when he's crossing that way, even though he's pinch high, you would think you should have some deflection going to the right. But one thing since we've gone to the new
bases?
what do you call it, new bases and the plastics, they tend to climb as opposed to push diagonally.
I have to take your word on that one. Unfortunate miss there for Evan. I'll have to take your word on that one, though. I never got to play on wood pins.
You never saw the wood?
No.
Yeah, the wood pins were a really interesting thing. Because I think that the neatest thing. Okay, so now we have Evan sitting with 157 after 6. Jeremy going to sit. With the wooden pins, the neat thing about them is when you hit a high hit and they literally crack.
Yeah.
The sound was like 10-pin, eh?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things. One of the Jeremy just let up a bit there. And
keeps it close still.
Yeah, it definitely keeps it close.
Looks like both of them are playing soft rolls today too, looking for that little bit of extra movement.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Very much
so.
so.
With that open there, that gives Jeremy 141. If he picks up his 5, he will be sitting with 156 and Evan with 157. Even up 6 frames.
Yeah.
And that's the score we have. Looking on the scoreboard, it's kind of interesting to look at it. One of the things I always look at, Evan for the first 6 frames is 6 for 6. And Jeremy for the first 6 frames is 5 for 6.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I mean the cherry 3-pin on the 3-bagger was a little bit painful, but even looking at it, they've only ever missed 1 shot each.
Yep.
Evan, unfortunately, on the drop-off for the spare, and Jeremy on the first ball in the 6.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they're playing very well. It's evident they look
and
comfortable.
when you look at it with Jeremy, he might have got a little careful with his first shot in the 6, and then the second one he's throwing at it, and just hits it, punches it straight out.
Little penalty ball, I guess, sometimes.
Well, you know, that's another thing. We always say, you know, that's a penalty for missing on your first ball.
Yeah.
But I'm a strong advocate that I don't really like that comment, because I believe if you throw a really good second ball, you should not be penalized. You already were penalized by being dumb enough to miss on the first ball.
True enough.
Yeah. So, but that's my personal.
A good one out here out of Evan.
There we go.
Wow.
See there, he still hit it a little high, but it cut across. Eh?
Yeah.
That was the difference. The difference was there. He was high, but he was cutting just as he got there. Eh?
And it was cutting into the pins instead of away from it, so it keeps everything close to the pin deck and sliding.
Keeps it level. That. You know, in the game in the past, when we used to play free fall, you tried to keep the pins just low and just let them feather out. There was a. Do we have a ball stuck in the back? Oh, here it comes. Yeah, so what happened before is the hard throwers, you know, they get the pins flying all over, and it was neat, but a lot of times when you threw the ball that hard, you didn't get the breaks that you did if you could just keep them nice and low.
Yeah, you see a lot of 3-pins jumping over for aces and stuff like
Exactly,
that.
yep. I had an issue happen to me in Dakota Lanes in Winnipeg one year when we were playing, and I was down by quite a bit to this gentleman by Bud Knight. And there we go, Evan's got great ball.
Two big shots out of Evan there.
2 great shots, so obviously now he's gained a little. Jeremy's going to have to come to
Be a good response here, Jeremy, to see 2 good shots and keep it within a ball.
Yes. And also force Evan to throw.
Yeah. Ooh. It's good getaway on that one.
Yeah, it was a little high.
Yeah, kind of one of those in-between shots where you get in the corner you're okay with, but at the same time you know it could have gone.
But if you watch the 2 of them, you watch their release now, like Jeremy throws a hook, he throws the hook coming under it.
Yeah.
Where Evan throws the hook more from the side, it comes off the side, it gets more direct. Where Jeremy's is more of a sweeping hook. But like I say, I love watching these 2 gentlemen play. They throw
nice and
dynamic shots.
Yeah. And they're always solid. You never see them bailing out of shots very frequently.
No, they have really good footwork.
Yeah.
So, well, that was a good ball. Jeremy needed that one. And,
3 good
he's
shots.
Still there.
Yeah, 3 good shots in those frames. I mean, you can't really be angry about the great corner. Those are part of the game sometimes.
Yeah. You know, and that's unfortunate. Like through the years, I've truly found out it isn't always the best bowler that wins. It's the one that picks up at the right times. You know.
It's not how pretty you throw the ball, it's how many pins you knock over sometimes.
Exactly, and how consistent you are.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Oh boy, that one really, he kind of threw that one really aggressively.
If I had to bet on it, I'd guess that was a little bit of adrenaline on that ball. Trying to make sure he got it there and throwing the big double the frame before. He's definitely got a little bit of a stranglehold now on it.
That definitely gave him the upper hand. You know, like if he throws a corner there, all of a sudden it's 202, he could max at 262, and Jeremy would be there at 259, right?
Yeah, so definitely.
So anything that opens up for anything in 10. Jeremy can max out with 304.
Yeah. So it's not
Can
over.
max out with 337. Yes, exactly. Ouch. That one just
Pinch high.
didn't cut. So with that, Evan's got 242. He can max out for 302.
Yeah.
Spare strike, which
It's
he
very
has an
cool.
opening.
It's definitely a good shot there. Again, kind of the story of the last half of this game was just that little bit of a pinch high going across, and it didn't quite duck the same way as it did on the right side.
Nope, that's exactly true.
Oh no.
Wow.
That one kind of stings a little.
That one does. Yeah, so picks it
that?
up. He's got 284.
Yeah.
Jeremy's still got a first strike at 10. Good pick.
Good pins. I mean, still forces him to execute in 10.
Yeah. So Evan virtually threw on his first ball, 10 for 10, threw well.
He was giving him chances each time he let go of it.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
He didn't give up. He didn't.
outside of the one plow, everything viably could have been there for a strike. So I mean,
Yep.
in my mind, I wouldn't be too upset about it.
Nope.
Whoa.
Nope. And the dreaded head pin. That's the difference.
And that
Yeah,
pretty well
it's
does
over.
that one.
Yeah, even if he spared it, that kills that.
Yeah. Still very well bowled game on Jeremy's part.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, just probably two shots that game that kind of cost him.
Well, probably, the thing is if you look at it in the seventh frame when he threw the trap, the biggest one that hurt him was the sixth frame, punching on his second ball. But so we had two good games there. Evan is the victor with 284. Jeremy finishes with 257. Both played well. Jeremy just had a couple bad breaks.
Yep.
Don't change the scores yet. Yeah, so for this group of matches, we had some really good close matches. Over on lanes 41-42, we had Ryland end up beating Ron, our first week qualifier winner, 339 to 303. And then on lanes 45, we had our fourth weekend qualifier, Tyler. TYTGAT end up beating KREUTZ 279 to 270. And then on the last set, we had Aaron Arndt victorious over Brett Wren. Aaron was our third week qualifier. Shot 286. And looks like Brett had a bit of misfortune go his way and finished with, I believe, 197, is it? So we had some good matches. So coming up on this set next will be our number one qualifier, Evan LACOURSIERE, playing against our fourth week winner, Tyler TYTGAT. So just give us a little information on Tyler. Tyler's high game is a 440. High triple is a 1059. He has an unbelievable resume here in the youth. He's been playing in the adults for the last while, but he has done very well there as well, with being the tour champion in 2017, 2018 last year. But he is a very, very formidable foe, and this could be a very interesting match. Tyler starts out with a strike. Tyler is a very controlled thrower. He's 3 steps. Ball rotation is a backup, and he's been bowling for 16 years.
Definitely could say it's a match of kind of the bright stars out of YBC in the Edmonton area right now too.
Oh, without a doubt, Tyler being the
Still in YBC.
newest one, and still playing YBC. That's right.
Still has another year
And
left.
Evan just coming out of YBC, and then, geez, I hope. Looks like Evan might have
Stuck or something,
just
maybe?
tweaked himself a little bit there. Hopefully, he didn't pull a hamstring.
Yeah, that'd be less than ideal, especially with Red Deer coming up in a week's time.
Yeah, because obviously he would be. Both these gentlemen are definitely pretty good ones that we would look at as a possibility of winning Red Deer.
Yeah.
You know, obviously that's where we play the tour champion for the WCBT, and Ty being last year's winner, so obviously he likes those.
Yeah, and they've both been runner-up at the Heritage Traditional as well, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I didn't realize. I knew Evan had. I didn't realize Ty.
KARIE won. KREUTZ.
Yeah.
Ty finished second to him.
Okay, so KARIE beat Ty in that year. Well, that's
So
a good
lot
thing
of-
to know.
Yeah, a lot of parallels between these two,
Yeah,
and yet very fundamentally different in their approach to bowling.
very much so. Evan is an aggressive thrower. You watch Ty; he's very fluent and very smooth.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think he's aggressive, but he throws a very aggressive ball. It's just that he doesn't throw everything into it.
Yeah, he silently uses a lot of legs.
Yes, the difference is Evan will use his forearms, his power, and that Ty will use his legs to generate power. That's exactly true.
Right.
There we go, another beautiful shot.
Good double.
Ty basically throws a back up and tries to keep it in the right-hand pocket,
Yeah.
where Evan's throwing a bit of a hook and tries to carry it a lot of times to the left pocket.
Yeah. Solid start by both bowlers. Evan, unfortunately, with the open in the first frame, but really 3 decent balls, all 3 on the targets. So.
Well, I guess if you're going to have one of those shots, it's best to have it in the first frame and then hopefully carry through for the rest.
Yeah, kind of one of those situations where no matter what you do in the first frame, you've always got 400 coming home.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There, Ty throws another one. He was a little bit thin, but with a nice controlled splash, kept the pins down, pushed them right out to the corners.
I guess a little bit of an insight. I've been watching Ty for a couple of years, as many would imagine.
And it's been more than a couple of years for you. You know, and
and those thin shots are kind of good ones for him.
for him.
Yeah.
Definitely. You bet.
Very-
And usually the thin shots, when you throw a controlled shot, you tend to don't get them going, but he has that really nice rhythm.
Yeah, and it just seems to work all the time
Yeah.
for him.
Oh, you bet. Evan, oh boy.
Another little bit pinch high again on that
Yeah,
left side.
pinch high, but you know what? That one, there again, it looked like it carried across.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is when you're looking at it from back here, it looks like it's carrying across, but you don't realize because of the backup how high it really is.
Yeah,
You know,
for
if you were sitting right over the top of the pins, then you get a better idea of it.
It's called-
Ah, nice spare.
Yeah.
So there we go. 30 counts are good.
Yep. Generally not losing a lot of ground that way.
No, well, low power mode. laid that one right down. He knew it as soon as he let it go.
Yeah, could hear it on that one.
Yeah.
Hear it from him, and when the ball hit the lane, it didn't have that same snap.
Yeah, it was as though he had dropped it just behind the foul line, and you could hear it. Over there, he threw a really nice aggressive ball. It's out on the lane.
A little bit stronger in his legs that time. I think just that first ball, he was a little bit hesitant with the legs.
There again, some of that, like we watched, some of that may stem from when you get a little bit too high a backswing. When you're high backswing, you're coming down a little more, kind of chalking at it, so you just don't get the ball in front of you.
Yeah, for sure.
So after 4 frames, Evans got a score of 78. Let's see there. Ty.
Just to prove me wrong, he goes high.
Yeah.
And still carries.
But you know what? The thing is if you looked at it, he came down a little bit of steep, had it. But when I do it, I call it an exaggerated follow through because you're dropping the ball just at your hip in there, but you push it with your fingers.
Just that kind of innate body memory. It's like, okay, just a little bit down on this one, so you grab it a little bit more.
Yep.
And that time it worked.
Well, that is probably, there he goes. Oh, and there was a really good ball left corner. But when we're talking about that, your body and correcting it, that's one of the attributes that the younger players have over the older, because as we get older, we don't have the physical attributes of flexibility. It's just like any other sport, like golf, whatever, the flexibility. And when you're younger, those people have it. Great shot, Ty.
Yeah.
So after 4 frames, Ty's got a score of 163 to Evans 78. Ty's got a corner, so Evans just got to giddy up, get her going.
Yep. Never a bad time for a 6-bagger.
No, and you know what? Either one of these two gentlemen can do that very easily.
I've seen them both do it, generally against me.
Yeah.
But that's why they are who they are and why they've won what they've won.
Oh, exactly. That's true. Without a doubt. Oh, there he goes.
There you go.
And between yourself and myself, we're both people that love this game, love the sport. Through the years of my playing, I learned more from sitting back and watching other people, picking up their little idiosyncrasies, picking up their habits, and then using that to hone into my game when I was younger and trying to develop my game. You can pick up a lot of good habits physically and mentally from watching other people do what they do.
Yeah, for myself, I love watching guys make big line changes, like a Lonnie Akers, go from the left gutter to the right gutter at any given moment. I think that's pretty impressive to have that kind of control and confidence to know you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Boy.
Got away with one
just
there,
cut
I think.
the back of the 2 and just, that's a backdoor special.
Yeah.
Makes
up for a couple of those power chops.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the guys that I used to, when we're talking about adjustments and that, one of the guys that was really interesting and that I had the fortune of playing with and watching was Bruce Morner. But his wasn't so much the drastic changes, but he was, he had, oh, what a great shot that was. He had little superstitions. I remember he threw a perfect game at when we were in Saskatoon one year. He had 2 balls on the rack. He started out, he threw the 1 ball for 4 frames. Says, okay, now I got to change. Threw the other ball for the middle 4 frames, and then went back to the other ball for the last 4 frames. And he used to do things like that. And when we used to travel together and room together, he would lay out his socks on the bed and say, okay, which one do you deserve to play today? Stuff like that. So those are the kind of the funny stories and the neat things that you pick up with other people that you're doing. He was a very special player.
Yeah, definitely not one that's been paralleled many times.
No, he was, but great ball.
Back with
that
Ty.
one just, worked right into the right pocket. Just a little bit higher than the other two,
Yeah.
you know? So
It's just that little bit of feel sometimes.
yeah. So, you know, I've been very fortunate to see some of the great players through the years, through the games. Another character that was quite interesting to watch and be around was Blair Pizzey. He was the most optimistic player I ever played with, and one that I will always be glad that I had the opportunity to be with. You know, oh boy,
That's gonna hurt a little bit.
yeah. This is
108 across the strike. It's
so he can be sitting with 153, 135, so he can finish with 288. Invariably, Ty would have to punch out.
and not pinned very well either.
Yes. Yeah. So,
Fortunately, it's like
see,
barring catastrophe.
yeah.
Evan's still played well again.
Oh, he is playing well. When you look at it, you look at the stats. He's hit 7 for 7. In the last game, he hit 11 for 11. You know,
And he was the highest qualifier of all our winners throughout the previous 3 weeks.
oh, was that right?
Yeah.
But you mean as the qualifier for it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Actually, our highest qualifier would have been KARIE, but he didn't. He lost out.
he was the highest qualifier of the winners.
Yes.
From the
Of
previous
the winners, yeah.
previous step laps.
Yeah.
Like this should
Yeah.
make sense that way.
And if you look at it, he's very, very consistent.
Yeah.
You know?
He's not giving away a lot of shots.
No.
Unfortunately,
Now that
there's
makes
one
it-
for Ty.
Yeah.
I always found it a little difficult sometimes when you know the match is more or less put away to keep the brain in that right gear.
Well, it is, and you know what? One of the worst things that happens when we run into a situation like this is all too often as a competitor, we will become more defensive as opposed to staying on the offense, right?
Yeah.
You know.
You're not quite use the same legs.
Yeah,
Get a
well, what
little
you're
bit
doing
more-
is you're just trying to put the ball there. Well, I don't want to make the mistake,
Yeah.
but what we don't realize is when we're trying not to make the mistake, we're more often thinking of the mistake.
Yeah.
And we
Definitely.
will. You know, it's like
The old adage of the best defense is offense.
offense, you bet. Yeah. See, and you look at it there.
Right.
He's both those shots.
Yeah.
Instead of being nice and flowing through, he just kind of set them down. So with this, he's sitting at, if he picks all his wood, he's at 270. Evan can get 285.
Yeah, so
And
it's
if-
not out of the woods yet.
No,
I
it
was
isn't. It is not. You know,
Tough 2 frames there. So we'll wait and see.
Yeah.
Thanks for an interesting ride home.
Exactly. Yeah, anything can happen.
Yes.
I hate to see that, but
No, definitely. It's not
yeah.
a fun
Yeah.
way to watch matches go.
no,
But
no.
it's,
And if Evan could hang out, that puts a little out of pressure. But I will say that Kai has the pedigree to overcome that.
yeah, it's definitely one of those situations where playing in these situations, you've got to, in my mind at least, I generally know the guy I'm playing against is going to run a double at me.
Exactly. You know,
And
that's why with this league that you guys have established, I think it's only going to make the Edmonton area bowlers that much better competitively. And you know, as a track record, we have a very, very strong field of competitors out of here already. And if you look at it in the province of Alberta, the Edmonton contingent has been one of the strongest ones out there, right? Great ball.
yeah, and finish it off in style here at
Yeah.
least for Evan. Go out on a high note.
Yep, throw a 3-bagger. You know, and
Yeah, no, definitely strong field here in Edmonton, and kind of why this league, I think, as a guy who helps organize it, is so strong. We have so many people who like being in these situations and play in these situations enough that they're willing to come in and spend
well,
the
the
money
nice
to
thing is,
play it.
you know, I look at some of the players that played in this week here, and I look at them how specifically, like Curtis Dunas is one, for example, and you know, I look at what he's been doing paralleling with what happened in my career.
Yeah.
And you know what? A lot of people look at him, they overlook him, and he's way better than people give credit.
He was a really good YBC bowler. He was a few years older than me, but I played a couple matches and a couple tournaments with him, and he was always really, really solid.
Yeah, yeah. So we sit here. Evan finished with 217 again. He hit the middle, 11 for 11. Did everything that he had to do. Unfortunately, Evan had 1, 2, 3, 4 what we call non-sparables, the head pins.
Yep.
Ty finishes with a 3-bag in a corner for a 313. Good match. Ty hit 12 for 12, I believe.
Yep.
You know, so very well deserving. He picked up all of his spares, and congratulations to Ty on winning this one. And good job, Evan. I see watching over on the other match over there, we have one heck of a good match going there. Aaron's got 271 in 9 with a strike in 10. We have Rylan with 243 and a spare in 9. So even if Aaron strikes out, he does not shut him out, which would make for a very interesting match. Aaron can finish with, and he gets the second one. So Aaron can max out at 316, and then Rylan would max out with 318. So I might as well just keep an eye on that and
I'll let you know how
follow
that
it
one
through
goes.
and let you know how that follows through. And obviously our final match will be with Tyler and the winner over there. Aaron's going up to throw his 12th shot. Okay, so we have a score of 306 for Aaron. Rylan's going in with 243, spare in 9, can max out with 318. Basically, if he threw the corner, that would have it 71. He has to throw the first strike in order to kill it. Oh, and he punches.
Fortunate.
So unfortunately, there we have 263.
288.
288,
Or 278.
278 max.
Yeah. Still well bowling. I mean, his previous 2 matches before were 350 or 650 doubles. So he played well. And I mean, again, 280 or 278 is nothing to shake a stick at. So.
No, and there again we have another young YBC player there that showed himself very well.
Yes.
2 weeks.
So in our final match, we are going to have Aaron Arndt, who was our number 2 qualifier.
Yes, our number 2 seed.
Against Tyler, who is our number 4
Yes.
in the thing. I had already said our highs for each gentleman. Aaron Arndt's high single is 445. Ty's is 440. Aaron's high triple is 1009. Ty's is 1059. They've both been, what do you call it? Aaron has won, he's one of the few bowlers that have won the Masters singles nationals back to back for the province of Alberta.
And I believe he's the only man to repeat at nationals.
In the Masters.
Yes.
That is correct. Yeah, so so he has a fair good reputation bringing his forward.
Yeah, definitely going to be another good match out here.
You bet. So we start out in first frame. Ty starts out with a head pin on the middle. So,
Yep, 2 shots on target, so
yep.
you're in the ballpark that way.
You bet.
3 shots on target and 3 pins.
Yep. Yeah. That's very deadly.
Yeah.
He hit everything he threw at. So, the one thing with Aaron's been bowling, well, his age is 33. He's been bowling for 28 years. He throws a 3-step. His ball rotation is a backup. He did play YBC. There again, Aaron played in a house that didn't have and he throws just an absolute bomb in the left pocket. Aaron played in a house that didn't have a lot of high caliber youth bowlers, so obviously he didn't get to go to nationals.
Not very often.
Not
I think
very
he made
often.
1 or 2, possibly.
I don't.
Maybe.
Back-to-back Masters, Heritage, Scottsdale. He won the Scottsdale.
Maybe not.
No, I don't think he has anything for YBC.
Definitely a very well-spoken adult bowler.
Yeah, and see there with the style that Aaron throws, he throws fairly hard,
Yeah, with a lot of
and
rotation.
he can throw. He can hit either side. He just basically he doesn't look at throwing to one specific spot.
Yeah.
He just wants to throw the ball with good rotation and let it happen.
It's that rhythm that everybody feels, and that's what he looks for more so than targeting.
Exactly. There's a great shot
Tyler's
by
good
Ty.
shot again.
Where the difference between the two, I would say Ty is more
Target
clinically trying to throw specifically at a general spot.
His target is.
Yeah. And I think if I'm not wrong in it, I think Aaron is more of a area bowler.
Yeah, probably bordering on feel altogether.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You bet.
And there's a good
ball. So
good
now
one
they're
on the tie.
tied through on both sides.
Yeah.
Just have that nice rotation.
I'd also say, in my opinion, Aaron's got one of the loudest strike balls I've ever seen. When he throws that strike that we all know he does, that thing carries for years.
Yeah, well, it seems like he throws a really heavy ball. Right?
Yeah. Wow.
He did hit that fairly thin.
A little thin. Still weird to see the head pin snap off the sidewall and back in the 3-pin to go behind it.
Yeah,
that way.
exactly. Well, when we see something like that, we generally tend to think that there might have been a pin off. But if you watched and you were able to watch this in replay, and you watch the footwork of it, if you watch him, Aaron, pardon me, he tends to walk to the left and then comes back into it.
Yeah.
And he's not a smooth slider like Ty is. He's a planter.
Yeah.
He gets in, he plants his feet, and then he comes through with his arm and shoulders and everything. He throws more like a slingshot shot rather than that really nice smooth release. It's not that it's bad, and that's the biggest thing is when you're learning the game and you're watching these guys, each player has a different quality of what they're doing. Aaron uses his physical attributes that he has. He uses that to best him, and Ty just learned
does
the
it in
game
a different way.
Exactly.
And that's kind of the beauty of the game. And I mean, clearly both styles are very effective.
Yeah. Well, and the big thing is your physical attributes you learn at an early age. Once you've gained them, then it becomes what's between the ears.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, they're both sitting pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
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 I thought that, there again, I thought his head pin hit the 2-pin, which could have sent it forward, or the 3-pin rolled into it and just didn't take it.
It was very dead 3-pin action there. It kind of didn't move like the other ones have. It
No.
kind of just laid over. So
Yeah.
maybe you
It's,
just laid it down here.
well, I don't know so much that. You know what? In watching videos of it, what I would assess that from happening more often. People don't realize that when those pins come down, they come down on a different position every time, and we have what we call soft spots in the rubbers.
Sure.
So if your ball just happens to catch that soft spot, that pin will not react the same way all the time, right?
Very valid too.
Yeah. So it isn't.
A little bit of luck on that one then.
Exactly. It. Well,
Just
see
enough there.
Really thin,
Yeah.
you know. But see, it isn't always. You know, how well you throw the ball or that. It's in the location you are. And like I say, if you have a rubber that's a little soft, you could have put that ball in a perfect spot. It's the same thing as I'm sure you've heard from guys watching and yourself. You look at it, you hit a ball, you hit the pin in a position where you're 2/3 on the head pin, and you go, how could that drive through for the chop?
Yeah.
That should not happen, right? And it does.
Yeah,
And
and
that's a lot of times that can be any variables. One of the things is in some houses where you play where there tends to be what we call fast lanes with lots of oil on it. The pins will react differently on the back end because when you
It's sliding there.
it
instead of getting
slides
that
and then
bite.
reacts after.
Yeah.
You know, so
Another good shot out there by Aaron.
yeah. So we have Ty sitting with 114 strike in 5. Aaron's sitting with 145 strike in 5 and 6.
Yeah.
So we have a difference of 31 pins.
34.
148. I've had him at 145. So
Oh, good.
yeah. So we have 148 difference of 34 pins.
Yeah. So ball and a half, pretty well. Or 2.5 balls. Sorry. So definitely in the neighborhood.
Well, that ball there. Now they're even balls, so there's
Yeah.
a difference of 34 pins.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. So
if they both strike out, that would be 2 spectacular games,
yeah.
and that would show how much pressure both of these gentlemen can handle.
Again, they both really solid out there. There's no kind of that wobbly that you see sometimes in some approaches. They both look solid, like you hit the line and they're not.
You bet.
You could push them over. These guys look solid.
There's a good strike.
There you go.
So, you know, I know this being Monty Noon, other competitors and that say, well, all you got to do is sneeze and the pins fall over. And that's not totally true.
Definitely
You
agree
still
with that
have
one.
to hit the middle.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I believe that this house does give you as good a pinfall as you do is because they have very consistent approaches. And when you have consistent approaches, any style can get to your finish point
Very-
and release the ball, right?
Yeah. Oh, wow. Almost got burned again on that
Yeah.
blow through.
Yeah. But he out there again, he just barely touched it. The speed really helped him there.
Definitely didn't hurt the cause.
Nope.
So, keeps it up. Keeps his 34 pin lead up there again.
You betcha. He's sitting with 193. And Ty is sitting with 159. They invariably have thrown identical games with the exception of the first frame.
Really, it's
If,
one
Ty,
shot.
That's right. One ball. You know? And see, if you would have watched Aaron's feet there, it really went left.
Yeah.
big time. So he's
Def-
throwing back
yeah.
into it. So he's
Definitely
throwing.
looked a little steeper into the pocket
Yeah,
that time.
exactly. So therefore, you know, when you get this, he put the ball in a reasonable location, but the diagonal action that it's coming into is so much different that it's high.
Yeah, the way it imparts causes the head pin to move in regards to the other ones that are a little bit better, causes that head pin to drive up instead of back.
Yeah, it climbs.
Yeah.
Exactly. So with that,
100
guy could throw, put in a double.
Yeah, 8, 9, and he's within 16.
Well, actually, if we throw the double, he would be within 16, but with only one hand for the
True.
8 frame. Right?
Very true.
So this is definitely an important one. And he's come through with a great shot.
Yep. That was pretty well no doubt out of the hand.
No, that one, as soon as he
Buried
let
in
it go.
Buried in the right pocket for 60 feet. 60 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, two totally different styles,
Yeah.
but both very accomplished.
Yeah. And emulates that beauty of the game that anybody can throw the ball anyway and score.
And score. And that's one of the biggest beauties in this game. You can be 3 years old all the way to 100. And it's a very entertaining sport for us. Oh, wow.
A little bit of a
There he
getaway on
goes.
that one.
Got away with it. So after 8, we have Tyler sitting with 249 in the 7th. And Aaron's got 265 in the 7th. The difference is 16. But Ty's got one ball that hand counting in the 8.
He's got the extra count.
So this is a big ball for Aaron. If he can hit, if he doesn't throw the strike, the whole advantage goes over to Ty. Oh, great shot. That's
Good tuck out of that one. You see those 3 pins spite in really
yeah,
well.
yeah. The 3-pin ball took it out. Yeah. So with that, we could have a score of 294 to 295.
Yeah.
Ball. If they both struck out, we'd have a variance of
Definitely.
110. So Aaron does have a chance to share.
He can walk up and put it away.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
If he struck out, he could lock it. Oop. There.
that's what happens sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that's
Just
the big thing is
yeah.
when he walks in and then he
Just looked a little bit like he tried to walk into the pocket
yeah.
instead
Well,
of
he
just
tries
throwing it.
instead of what he did is he really varianced over to the left, tries throwing it in, and he cuts under the ball.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Just make the spare still. Tyler executing 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ouch.
That's gonna stay.
Let's see. So that gives him 23, 318.
So he's got 333 with a clean, likely going to be 3.
So he'd be 331.
Yeah,
331 if he
Yeah.
does it. Still forces Ty to throw a count.
Yeah, because
Ty throws a 43.
Yeah, because he's got to catch up
43.
to 8. Because
Yeah.
no matter what he does, he can't catch an 8.
No. Well, if he threw 43, he would have 92 and 8. Throws
Yeah.
30 would be 322 in the open, as long as he's scared of it.
Yeah.
He needs a count. Oh,
Wow.
great ball.
There you go.
So that invariably shuts him out.
Yeah, there's 30 pins, so
Yeah.
he'll need 7 points with the next 2 shots.
Well, he's already got 324
Yeah, so
with whatever he adds here.
yeah, and this ball's worth doubles.
Yeah. Follows with
that
another strike.
definitely covers the 7 pins.
Yeah. Gives him a 7-bagger.
So great
You
bowling
know,
on his
there
part
again,
today.
both gentlemen threw really, really well.
331 is usually a game you expect to win with.
Yeah, very easily you could, but at this level, hard. So, you know, we have a situation there where Aaron hit 9 out of 10. Tyler hits 11 or 12 for 12. So we have a total of 374 for Tyler, 331 for Aaron. Tyler being our champion will win 175, and Aaron finishing second for 150. Congratulations to both of the gentlemen. Really good play.
Yeah, and fun to watch today.
Yep.